Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's the commish back here with another recap for you folks. And of course, we always start off with Dynasty. So looking at Dynasty this week, not a lot of close games, definitely some close games in the international division. Though that international division, as you can see here, I broke it down by divisions, has been pretty tight. Finito leads, and then Swahino and Klenji, they're at 3-3. A lot of teams at 3-3. I think Memphis Devils Dogs has the last playoff spot, even though I have them ahead of them in the division. Just because I beat Dirk earlier this year, I just had to throw that in there, Dirk. You're really starting to see who the top teams are, though. And honestly, I think the top teams here are the top scoring teams. And that's no more Cowichan and Age Crew. Those three teams definitely look like the clear-cut favorites, in my opinion. You can also see in the divisions too, like it's really starting to sort itself out, right? Like the Canadian division, the American division. There's two clear-cut favorites there, right? So Killer Sheep no more in the American, Couch and an Age Crew in the Canadian. The mixed bag in the international division, obviously not so much. You can see it's a bit of a logjam there, and the simple fact that I sold and a game out of the division in the mixed bag division. I don't know if it says a lot about the division or if I'm just getting lucky. And then you can see I also added a new category here today for LOC Dynasty. It's the lottery odds. So obviously the odds are better if you're last place, Deuce Bombers. I'll say it every week. He definitely looks like a prime Hugh Jackson candidate. 0-6 here in Dynasty. And we'll get to the LOC and show you how bad he's done there as well. But 10 ballots is what he would have. 8 for Sabatica Spartans at 1-5. Forever Rebuild at 2-4 would get 6. And Silver Bullets would get 5. So I guess if you're wanting a new quarterback, or maybe it's Jeremiah Love or Jordan Tyson you're going for, you definitely want to get those lottery odds up and get those early on picks. All right, folks, now we've hit tier three, and it's interesting. I was just talking this morning to Bruce on how much he likes Taylor Swift, but there was another Swift for Bruce that seemed to deliver for him last minute because I had updated this sheet and was getting ready to go to bed, and then I had one last look, and I'm like, oh, Bruce pulled out the win. DeAndre Swift with that huge run at the end gets him the W. Cannonballs 007. Can't believe it. He's still 1-5 with Battle Street Bears, the two worst teams in the entire format, considering that they are in tier three. I stay undefeated. What's really exciting about this tier three format this year, though, is the international division. Folks, there's four teams at 3-3. You could see three of them would make the playoffs if the season ended today. A lot of high scoring teams in that division. It's been fun to watch. And in all honesty, when I look at game of the week candidates for tier three, that's what I'm focusing on for this week too. I got throwbacks for My Wife is Hotter, who's coming off a big win, and Kung Fu Panda taking on Black Dog this week. I mean, does it get any better? And then in the international division, and the sad part about it is there's probably going to be one, maybe two good teams in that division that don't make the playoffs, and they'll have to reset for next year. You can see in the top scoring, it's throwbacks and Kung Fu Panda at 2-3 as some of the highest scoring teams. So they've definitely done well. The worst scoring team by far has been Sinner Tiger 21. Bree, unfortunately, has been a tier three veteran. I'm going to call her now. And it'll be a magical moment when Bree finally gets up to tier two, if she ever does. And then you can see here in tier three, I've added a new section, and this is for people in tier two and tier one that might not realize the top two teams in tier three get a bye into the playoffs, into the second round. And right now, that would currently be myself and my preseason pick for the American division, Hot Chuba Time Machine would currently get the buys into the second round. I'm sure for Hot Chupa Time Machine, that would be a welcome sight because it would pretty much make him, I think, pretty close into tier two qualifier. All right, next we move to tier two. And looking at tier two, Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I look at every single team that's qualified so far for Tier 2 in the playoffs, and I wouldn't want to play any one of those teams, to be honest. Still two undefeated teams in this tier. Scottish Highlanders is still 6-0 as well as myself. I am currently the highest scoring team as I just took over Purple Unis as the highest scoring team, and I'm happy to say Scottish Highlanders now is a top three scoring team as well, matching that 6-0 record. So clearly, Scottish Highlanders is a good team this year. Lowest scoring team, and this is where I've also raised my concerns in prior recaps. Jeff and Brisket Biscuits and Gravy. You might be 2-4, but that won't matter because you have to win the consolation or not finish last in consolation to not drop. And there's two teams that will drop, bare minimum, right? So you got to get it figured out as well as Bishop Sycamore. You're by far the lowest scoring teams. And when I look at that, that probably isn't going to lead to consolation success. Mr. Irrelevant finally gets on the board, gets his first W. He's been active since I called him out early on. He sets a lineup, doesn't do as many waiver claims as I think a successful team needs to do, obviously, but nice to see him setting the lineup. And I will throw this out. Big upset, I think, this week, too. Nohawk Tua also getting their first win, taking care of Purple Unis, which obviously second high scoring team. So Nohawk Tua to knock off Purple Unis this week was huge. And then you can see my new tab is who would be meeting in the playoffs. So Eight Balls versus McLovin, Silver Bullets, Next Door Neighbors, Highlanders, Sandmen, Mafia Unis. None of those games are easy wins for anyone, I feel. So just to put it into perspective, Tier 2 is going to be pretty competitive this year, and the playoffs are definitely going to be interesting to watch, no doubt in my mind. All right, so we get to the highest tier now here, folks, and yeah, lots to unpack here. So first off, the storyline is Finito is now king of the LOC. He is the only undefeated team. 12th man loses to BC Lions. 12th man decided to keep some guys out of the lineup and then some empty spaces, and it cost them the top scoring lead as well as the top regular season lead, and that's now Finito. Finito is definitely king. The other big announcement, 12th man is Seller. I guess we'll have to see, but it sounds like 6 wins. He's going to sell. And I'm sure a lot of the other teams that are contending are very happy to see that happening. I'm sure Finito's happy. Billsy Bobs will be happy. Sabatica Spartans, I think, is a team that has to be watched out for as well. Lots of things are still going to change, right? Like right now, we still have three Grace teams in the playoffs, right? And how pathetic is the American division. I mean, honestly, like when you look, Sky Blue Army's 4-2, leads that division. Look at the lowest scoring teams, folks. Sky Blue Army is one of the worst scoring teams in the league this year, and then you got Banjo Blitz, who's 3-3 right there with them. I think it's clear the worst team in the league is the Age Crew, and that's going to save a lot of folks if he does eventually finish last. And you can see Too Good for a Name got on the winning track this week. And Deuce Bombers, who was my preseason pick to win the American, you saw him pipe up. I'm going to be top five in scoring, and I'm 1-5. So he's had a tough year. I can feel your pain, Deuce. I don't know if I'm top five in scoring, but I've definitely way up there as well, and I'm 2-4. So it's tough to watch, right? And I'm sure for Deuce, it's even tougher because he's got Sky Blue Army. He's the third lowest scoring team in the league, and he's leading that division. It's tough to look at. Survival Watch is the new tab. You can see Age Crew, Too Good, Deuce Bombers, and Green Lightning are the ones that need to watch out. And that leads me to my Game of the Week candidates. We got Age Crew versus Too Good for a Name. That's going to be a big game for both. Well, not really for Age Crew because he retired, but if he can get the W there, he just makes things uncomfortable for the rest of the league. I also got Horror Business versus 12th Man as a potential candidate just because Brian said he's a seller. So if he gets to 6 wins, he's selling. So we'll see if he actually does that. I also have Mother Tucker versus Deuce Bombers just for the simple fact that, again, Deuce is struggling. And I think Mother Tucker's a winnable game. Mother Tucker's lost two in a row. as he's come back down to earth. And then my other game of the week is potential first place in the American. Sky Blue Army, no more, and what should be a pretty good meeting there. Yeah, so I know for some of the tiers I accidentally missed the game of the weeks, but for Dynasty and Tier 2, I didn't mention it. If you're still on the video for Dynasty, my game of the week candidates there are Killer Sheep and Golden Knights, Age Crew versus Finito, and Cowichan versus Klenji. So if you're still watching the video, and a lot of you guys are in tier one, so you would be watching it still. And then for tier two, if you guys are still on the video, the game of the week candidates, a great matchup. Memphis Mafia versus Scottish Highlanders, 5-1 versus 6-0. That looks like it's going to be a beauty. And I also have Purple Unis versus Silver Bullets, just because those are two high scoring teams. All right, folks. So that's your recap for this week. I hope you enjoyed another week of football. I know I did, and hope you enjoy. What week are we on now? Week 7. Enjoy.